In Amsterdam this week, we have the Bluenote Christmas party, and our resident mad scientist Philippe is here. He's our chief technology officer, and I wanted to show Philippe some high tech, so I took him to the most energy efficient building in the world. This is the Edge. What's interesting about it is it's energy positive, so it produces 2% more than it consumes. And what I think is the smartest thing is not that it has 30,000 sensors and it has, I forgot, power over Ethernet, all these very smart things. The thing is, what I found was smart is, this is the north side that we're facing this way, facing the freeway. They opened it, the north side is open and gets all the light in. The southern side, where the sun comes on, is closed. So what it does then, it heats up less in the summer, that they have to use less cooling. So if everybody would build this way, all the buildings would face the same way, it would look sort of similar. But it's a very nice and interesting building. The only thing is, this is completely economically unsustainable. We can't go around the world asking people, yeah, just build a new building like Deloitte is. So the idea for us when we started Bluenote was that we're in problems, there's climate change, and a huge cause of it is because of energy use of real estate. And it's an issue that can be solved. It's a problem that's solvable. Newer buildings can do stuff like this, and old buildings you can upgrade. And what we're trying to do with Bluenote is build a system, a network where people can share access to their data anonymously, so they can learn from each other to buy the right solution, install the right solutions, maintain it the right way, if they only share.
What we're trying to build is a mechanism for buildings to learn from one another without exposing what they don't want to show, which is their confidential data. And there are two things they don't want to show. Generally, they don't want to show what could be related to economic activity, and they don't want to show what could make them look bad.
What's an example of information related to economic activity they wouldn't want to share?
So energy will be a function of occupancy, for example, in the building. If fewer people occupy the building, it means that the economic activity is going down, which means that you should probably shorten the stock.
Yes.
So a building, in principle, will be very careful in exposing any kind of high resolution data
about its use.
Exactly, because it could expose things that they don't want to expose, rightfully so. So what we're doing with the protocol is making it possible for one building to apply the learnings of another building without having to actually access in any way directly the data. You can think of it as one building is used to create a numerical model that can be applied to another building. So the model doesn't tell you which day how much energy was consumed. It just shows you how the building reacts to low temperature, how the building reacts to wind, how the building reacts to occupancy.
So now we're standing in front of some decrepit old piece of shit building from the 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't know. So why is this relevant for what we're doing? Because most buildings were built, especially in Europe, before the energy crisis.
70% of buildings were built before the first oil crisis, which means that they were built at a time where energy consumption was absolutely not a concern. And it took actually a long time, even after that, to start realizing how much energy was wasted in buildings. And when you start seeing buildings with thin walls or a lot of windows that don't seem to be energy efficient, the frame of the window is metal, so that's conducting heat. So a lot of heat is actually escaping this building.
So why would the owner of this building, how hard would it be for them to upgrade now and make this building more energy efficient? And how do they do that then through Bluenote?
First, the building has to learn for itself how it's using energy. and what energy is used when there's more wind, when there's more cold, when there are more people. Once they have this, they can actually, on the same protocol, with the same data, they can use software modules that will leverage information from other buildings and apply to their own circumstances what other decisions made by other buildings, how they would apply to their building.
So people always ask us, why do you need blockchain for this? Why don't we do this with a regular database? Why don't we do this just like we've done, you and me together, for the last 150 years?
So
I thought it was funny.
Blockchain is not a benefit in itself. What it's doing is it's enabling collaboration between people who otherwise wouldn't collaborate. And the way it does that is through three mechanisms. Number one, it makes it possible for people to learn from one another without exposing private, confidential data. So that's number one, is privacy. Number two is incentive. Through blockchain, you can make transactions and have completely transparent transaction, even though they may involve a large number of people. So it creates a way to reward people who participate in this protocol. Until blockchain, people would share their data with a central database, and the only benefit the participant would get is they would see a dashboard on their own data, but they wouldn't be able really to leverage the rest of the data. That would be the new proposition of the database itself. They would leverage this data on their own. And number three is governance. With blockchain, you can enable a community to make decisions. So instead of the community being dependent on
community would be the holders of the token.
Exactly. All the buildings, all the parties, all the stakeholders in this ecosystem will be able to make decisions on what happens, on how the reward pool is allocated, on what kind of mechanism drive the extension of the protocol. Those things, in a classical Web 0.2 solution, those things are all the responsibility of the platform. Here, the platform is the community, and the token is the voting power of the community.
I'm just realizing, I'm thoroughly enjoying the idea that people on Facebook are watching this, thinking they get pictures of Meryl in a bikini, and then get the two of us, in a car, talking about granularity of high-resolution data.
Yeah, wrong channel.
People, this is a new kind of sexy, right here. What is it? Anybody know?
It's like a neuron, like in your brain, because you need to process all the light that you see before you know what it is.
No wonder I didn't recognize it. You mentioned brain.